Hello lovelies, this is Nurse Ags. Welcome back to my channel if you are returning, and welcome to my channel if you're new here. In today's video, I will be discussing dealing with death as a nurse, and specifically as a labor and delivery nurse. Now, I'll be talking strictly through my experience. I'll be hitting on what it's like as a nurse caring for these families and these patients who experience a fetal demise, as well as some tips for caring for these families and the patients, and then tips for caring for yourself, because that is very, very important as well. So if you're interested in any of that, then please continue watching. Also, don't forget to subscribe by clicking the big red button down below, and then give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and then leave any questions or comments below as well. All right, let's hop right into today's video. All right, so the very first thing I want to start off with is a statistic. So according to the CDC, as of 2013, 6 out of 1,000 births resulted in an IUFD, or an intrauterine fetal demise. It's about 0.6%. Now, obviously, any percentage, any number is too much. We want 0 fetal demises. We don't want anyone to experience a loss. But if you are interested in this specialty area, labor and delivery, just know that the number of patients that you'll be caring for, only a minority of them are going to experience a fetal demise. Now, I work at a hospital where we have a high volume of patients, so I've cared for quite a number of patients who had a fetal demise, like not too many. I could probably count on 2 hands how many patients I have who have experienced it. And I've cared for them through all stages, from the very beginning when they came into the hospital and they learned that there was no heart tones, which, I mean, to be very frank, is devastating to be a part of and to experience, even as a nurse. You just feel so helpless, and you almost feel the same emotions that that patient experienced, which is absolute shock and confusion, and then some anger as well. So it definitely is challenging to care for this patient population, and it almost even deterred me from the specialty area, to be quite frank. I was scared of having to care for these patients and just how sad it would be. I didn't know if I would cope well, but ultimately I decided to go for it because it's my passion, and I'm so glad I did, because for one, like I said, it's only a minority of the cases, and number two, you play such an important role as a nurse in caring for these patients and their families. They will remember this event for the rest of their life, and you can really help them to make it very meaningful. I couldn't see myself personally doing it every single day, but whenever I do have the patient assignment, I feel a lot more responsibility than I do with any of my other patients, and just being extra sensitive to them and their families, going above and beyond, not just for them but their entire family, because remember, their whole family is experiencing this grief, this trauma. Now, moving on to some tips for caring for these patients and their families. Number one is just know you cannot fix anything. I know as nurses we like to fix things. We want to be able to make the patient feel better, make their pain go away. But in this situation, unfortunately, there is nothing you can do to erase what has been done, which is the loss of their child. However, what you can do is provide emotional support. You can ensure that they're as pain-free as possible as far as physically, and you can make sure that they are well equipped with resources to make them feel like they can grieve in a healthy way. So I know at my hospital we have a whole service catered for these patients and their families. It's called the perinatal loss services, and it's wonderful. If the patient consents to it, they will stay in contact with these families, and they have a whole community really of patients who have experienced the loss, and it's just really nice to have that support when you go through that trauma. Number two, as far as tips, is to encourage them to hold their baby. Research shows a lot of moms and parents who have experienced a loss similar to this, they say it's helped them so much to cope and to grieve, just so that they can feel and always remember that this was real, their baby was real. Also, another tip is to always refer to that baby by the name. As soon as you meet that mom and her family, go ahead and ask her what the baby's name is, and from that point onward, you will only refer to that baby by their name. Again, kind of going along with holding the baby, it just makes it so that they know that the baby is real and everything about what they're feeling is real. It makes it more meaningful for them as well. Something you do not want to do is say things such as, You can always have another baby. At least you have a baby at home. Anything to diminish what they're already feeling and make them feel less than, you want to avoid completely. Instead, just say, I'm sorry. You know, say, I am incredibly sorry for your loss. I cannot imagine what you're feeling right now. And then just ensure them that you are there for them to support them and their family. Make sure they have all the resources they need to make their stay at the hospital as comfortable as possible. Let them know what your job is, which is to make sure that they stay healthy during their visit here and that they feel well supported and that they leave with the correct resources they need to basically move through their grieving process. So ultimately, as the nurse, your role, in my opinion, is to make that patient and their family feel as supported as possible. If you don't have the answer to their questions, you need to know where to find that answer and to get it to them in a prompt manner and fashion. Don't take things too personally. As nurses, we have pretty strong skin in the first place, but especially for them, you know, they are going to be going through all stages of the grieving process. So you'll experience the shock, the confusion, the anger. So just don't take any of it personal if the patient lashes out on you. It's not about us, you know, it's about that patient and just helping them to navigate those feelings and those emotions and their family as well. Now, the last thing I really wanted to touch on was caring for you as a nurse after caring for a patient that had a loss of a child. This is really important to leave all those emotions, anything work related, emotionally at the workplace, and it helps to do so by doing different stress relief exercises or activities. So for you, that might be exercising, yoga, journaling, calling up one of your coworkers who can relate to what you're feeling and experiencing, and just chatting with them and venting to them, having a glass of wine. Whatever it is, just make sure you take care of yourself, because if you're well taken care of, then you can take good care of your patients. And then lastly is to give yourself a pat on the back after caring for these patients and their families and just doing a fantastic job of it. You don't know it, but you've made a lifetime impact on them and they won't forget it. I think that concludes everything I really want to share with you all, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys found it helpful. If you are a nurse, please share with me how you cope with caring for patients who have some type of death in their family, or caring for the families whose patients have died. I want to hear from you guys. I look forward to engaging in some conversation. I will see you guys on the next video.